Welcome to Domaine Drouhin. I am Mark Bosco, the tasting room manager here, to welcome you to our 225-acre estate. We are owned by the famed Drouhin family from Burgundy, France. The Drouhins have been making wine in Burgundy, specifically Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, since the 1880s and came here in 1987. Our first vintage was officially in 1988. It started as a 1,000 case production, and since we've grown to roughly 17,000 cases. We stand on a 4-story gravity flow winery here in the Dundee Hills. This building was completed in 1989. We've made every vintage since '89 here, so the first vintage, '88, we actually made at another winery.
My name is Becky Boyd, hospitality coordinator here at Domaine Drouhin.
Great. And what kind of wines can people taste here?
We do only 2 varietals, 1 Chardonnay and 3 versions of Pinot Noir. And we typically pour 1 Chardonnay and 2 of our Pinots.
Now I understand that people can also taste the wines that are actually made in Burgundy here, is that correct?
On occasion we do offer some French wines, usually a red and a white Burgundy for the tours that we offer by appointment.
We offer tours Wednesday through Sunday during our normal tasting room operational hours. We do 2 daily, a 10 a.m. and a 1 p.m. In the summertime, or the warmer weather, we can actually start outside, whereas in the wintertime it's more of an inside tour, being that it's pretty cold. One thing that's nice is we have a dining room table here, which will sit down at the end of the tour and compare both the French and Oregon wines. We usually pick one of the white wines from France and one of the reds to kind of get in the mix with our Oregon operation, and we'll pair that with some cheeses. Production, we are staged on 3 levels. I guess technically 4 if you count this room as 2. We have our receiving area up above us. Again, this is all gravity, so we've staged each level of our winemaking process above the next or below the next, so that we can allow the fruit or the wine to gradually, delicately make its way through the winery. This floor, which we stand on, is 100% for fermentation. So as you can see, it is pretty quiet this time of year. We only use this room for about a month and a half to 2 months out of the year in total.
So these tanks are actually where the wine ferments before it goes to the barrels?
Exactly. We ferment all of our Pinot Noir in stainless steel in these tanks, so they are empty right now. They will be empty for till about September, October of this year.
Okay. Now, isn't your Chardonnay also a blend of steel fermented and barrel fermented?
It is. Absolutely. Below us, where we'll go next, is our barrel room. We'll keep roughly 40 to 45% of it in oak casks and the remainder in stainless steel during fermentation. All we do to move this wine into our barrels is we hook up some hose, lengths of hose to a valve, and we can run those lengths of hose through a hole in the floor. We actually have 3, and that allows us to move our wine into barrel without having to use pumps.
Mm. So that's what that drain in the floor
so
is.
That's kind of our second step of gravity flow, is trying to be as delicate as possible when moving that wine into the casks it'll age in for a year to a year now. In the barrel room now, as you can imagine, being owned by a French family, it's all French oak. We will age our Pinot Noir in barrel anywhere from, I'd say, 11 to 18 months, depending on the wine. Here it'll stay, and then we will blend that and bottle. We have our bottling facility on site as well. But here in the hillside, it should stay mid-50s pretty regularly. We do have a way to add some humidity, and just a beautiful way to store wine. We do have some stainless steel blending tanks on site. This is where we'll take all those barrels of Pinot and start to blend our wines together. We actually only make 3 Pinot Noirs. Some age different amounts of time in barrel. We move them into blending tank where they'll settle, and then from there we'll go into bottle.
I noticed that the Pinot Noirs are named after people. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
We technically make 4 wines, 3 of which are named after our winemaker Veronique Drouhin's children. So it all started with Lorraine. She has a Pinot Noir named after her. The first year she made a reserve wine was the year Lorraine was born. So it made perfect sense to name that wine after her. A few years later, we started to take barrels out of Lorraine and make a special blend for our wine club. It is named after Lorraine's youngest sister, Louise. And when their brother, the middle child, found out that he was the only one without a wine, it seemed only appropriate to name our Chardonnay after him, and that is named Artur. Our fourth and final floor is where we bottle and package. So what we have is a really nice on-site bottling line. Gets everything done for us. When we are done bottling, we age our wines. For just about as long as we gave them in barrel, we will then again give them in bottles, so that it will go anywhere between 11 and 18 months. When we have an order, we'll actually do the labeling. So you'll see a lot of empty, unmarked bottles in these cages in the corners. Those are finished bottles of wine. I would say probably from 2006, 2007, just kind of waiting patiently. And when we do decide to release those, we'll package them up and send them right out the door.